Go Bryce, go Bryce, it's your birthday, it's your birthday. We gon' party like you threw for 400, you threw for 400. Go Bryce, prove them haters wrong.
Bruh.
Put the
Supreme victory. Perfect.
The Slim Reaper has returned.
Ultra combo.
Let's start growling. Welcome back, Panther Nation. Woo! Don't it feel good to not only get the kind of win and get a sweep of the Atlanta Falcons, which I didn't know. I totally forgot that we swept them in 2013. But nonetheless, we got to give a huge growl out to the haters out there.
Dumb shit. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. Dumb shit.
Yeah. And we're going to start this show by saying, I want any of you that listen to any of the podcast, YouTube channel, or just any group of people that have been down on Bryce Young, make sure you take this show and post this link in their comments. Because there's a lot of them. I didn't have a whole list to go down, but two I really want to point out is Locked On Panthers and Panthers Playbook. And even Conley over there at ESPN. Because a lot of these guys, they had done gave up. Saying that Bryce is incapable of leading a team or being that guy that can throw for 300 consistently. Well, not only did he surpass 300, the dude threw for over 400. But let me not get too excited. Of course, you growling with the one and only Mr. CeeLo here. Welcome to Growling and Prowling. But before we really get into it, I got a PSA for you guys, the sponsor of the show. As you all know, this is Mr. CeeLo and the show's first sponsor, and it goes a little something like this. He builds it, fixes it, lifts it, breaks it, then builds it again. The world calls him a man. We refer to him as the effing man, just like Bryce Young was today. TF Man, the lotion made for hands that earn it, like Bryce did, like Teteroy McMillan's, like Xavier Legette's, Tommy Trimble's, Mitchell Evans, and Jalen Coker's hands. Crafted from grass-fed tallow, squalene, and grit, no flowers, no fluffs, just results. You know, the type of man that shows up, like XL, Tet, Mitchell Evans, and of course Tommy Trimble and Jalen Coker. Oh, can't forget Rico Dowdle. And finally, the man himself, the effing man, the Slim Reaper. He's not just a man, he's the effing man. And now, he's got the lotion to match. The official man lotion of Growling and Prowling. TF Man, the whipped tallow cream from LV. Made from grass-fed beef tallow, squalane, and pure grit. No chemicals, no perfume, just hard-earned hydration for hands that are built to lift and live. LV, all-natural skincare, rebuilt for real people. TF Man, because being the effing man means taking care of your own damn skin. And Slim Reaper and the entire offense need it after their performance. Thank you guys so much. I encourage you, if you have not gone over to LV yet and checked it out, make sure you scan the QR code, whether it's on your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop, or your PC. Go over, check out their products, because guess what? The ladies not only love a man that looks great and smells fabulous, but they also love an effing man. Just like the Slim Reaper. Woo! Now back to my rant about all these haters. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. You remember, guys, I said in the show that was released a little bit late before game time. I know, guys, don't get on me about that. I'm sorry. But, guys, I have been saying for weeks, let's encourage Bryce. Let's see what happens. No, you get people like Chris Lee and Dennis Cox, and you can even throw Julian Council in there. These guys make it sound like Bryce is incapable of being in the upper echelon. And even Julian Council was sitting there saying, well, you know, he's been one of the worst quarterbacks thus far. It looked to me today that Dave Canellis finally said, we need to open up the playbook. We need some plays, some good plays. Now, I will say this. There was a touchdown that Tech McMillan would have had, more likely. There was a throw that Bryce forced into the end zone that A.J. Terrell, he left Tech McMillan by himself over there. It wasn't necessarily in the flat, but it was over there on the sideline where nobody was over there. So I'm sure Bryce is going to look at the film. Look, Dave Canellis called up some crazy open stuff today. It was insane how many holes were on this defense that the Falcons had. And really in the first half, it looked like I sense Dave Canellis is going to be one of those coaches. He's going to basically concede the first half just to see what we're going to get. And then in the second half, the floodgates just opened. And then you could see this early on because there were a few plays that Canellis called. And I guess he had to really get the defense felt out to see when they were going to blitz, what the blitzes are going to look like. And there was one where Billy Bowman of the safety slash nickel of the Falcons just came free, and Chandler Zabala just totally had a whiff. I get it. He was engaged with another guy, but when you call out the protections, look, you can help contain one guy, but you have to realize your assignment is another guy. You have to slide over when you see it. You have to use your peripheral vision. But outside of that, the Falcons basically sold out to stop the run. And they did a pretty darn good job of it. As you see, Chuba Hubbard was the only one that had a positive run average, which was 5.3. I guess we should go back to Chuba Hubbard then, huh? Judging by what all of y'all say. 4 carries, 21 yards, 5.3 yard average. Because judging by the logic that we've had around here, and of course, these same individuals that said that were the ones that said Bryce wasn't capable of a performance that he had today, which, by the way, was a franchise record in yardage. Still want Cam Newton back? Thought so. Woo! I mean, I'm just amazed, guys. And the beautiful thing about it is Xavier Legette has just caught so much flack to the point that he needed a game like this. And I think Bryce sort of forced that ball into, I think the Falcons sensed that that's who was going to get the football when he forced that one into the end zone, because they had 3 guys around him. And needless to say, this is what I saw. I'm not saying I knew when it was coming, but Panther Nation, you guys watch my show. I knew what the weapons that we had around here. Jalen Coker. And how many times have I said, get the tight ends more involved? Well, look at here. And I think, who was it? I think it was Brady Quinn. I think Brady Quinn was calling that game today. I think it was Brady Quinn, but he said something. The tight ends, Tommy Tremahan had a catch. I think it was in 4 or 5 games. Mitchell Evans, I know it was 3 games for him. Look at this. You got 7 catches amongst your tight ends. The level of distribution was just absolutely wonderful. And then I remember, Chris Lee, you said Tech McMillan would have more if he had a quarterback throw it to him. See, I remember this stuff. I don't write it all down because I don't have a pad that big. But the negative comments that comes out of this fan base, Steve Smith was absolutely right. Y'all a bunch of crybabies. Then you want to defend your place or your situation on your show saying, well, I've been a Panther fan since 95. So? You are so ready to sell out on Bryce. And even on the show, I'm still seeing people in the comment section saying he still ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. You won't even you guys will not even give Bryce a break when he is the highest passer for the day. What gives? I mean, if you spent more time trying to uplift this guy as you did trying to tear him down, he could be the guy that leads us into the next phase. And I know what people are already saying. Well, we got to take this at face value because we've got the 49ers who had a big win today over the Cardinals. I get it. But the reality of it is that pass rush ain't nearly as efficient as the one we saw today. They blitz a lot, and that'd be the Falcons. The 49ers, not so much. They have moments when they do. But the truth is, the 49ers, and I'm not trying to get into that game yet. We'll have time for that. But I think ultimately we're going to have points to be had. Because Brissett had a NFL record, I think it was 47 completions today. But that's another phase. But Bryce Young, 31 for 45. See, statistics can be very deceiving. I know if somebody said something about a graphic, I don't think he's won but like 2 or 3 games, and when he throws over 40 passes, and then we've had a lot of losses in that. A lot of that has to do with the fact that, look at the first year. How horribly managed that he was. He was horribly managed. Horribly coached. And you could even question Dave Canellis at times as horribly coached Bryce Young. Bryce can't had a bad ankle and this guy was still out there killing it. And he got sacked 5 times. Now I will say maybe 1, maybe 2 of those sacks were on him because he's holding the football. But that's when Canellis has got to give Bryce more liberty to basically check out of plays and check into certain plays that are going to benefit us. Like today, we had some great calls with Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard going out of the backfield. With Chuba, bro, I know you slammed your helmet on the sideline. Some of those, you got to grab them, buddy. I love you, but you got to grab them. And finally, we got the tight ends involved. I mean, this looked like a display of Patrick Mahomes. Now, a lot of you going to say, oh, no, you're going too far. Now, no, it was a complete exhibition on distribution. What we brought him in here for, what he does well. And Dave Canellis, you called a masterful second half. And if you don't believe me, the statistics speak for themselves. I mean, we went first drive touchdown, then we went punt, field goal in the half. Then on the drives in the second half, we went really good. We won the middle 8, guys. We had 10 points in the middle 8, something that we had not been doing. And arguably could have scored a touchdown. We could have had 14. I think that was the drive where Tet was open and he tried to force it into Leggett. But then we had a turnover on downs when we went for it, which Jatavian Sanders, boy, you better be more aggressive. You catch that ball, you don't stand there and wait. You back up. You catch that thing and back into that first down. Then we had turnover on downs, field goal, punt, turnover on downs, which looked like that could have been the end of the game. But then the defense got a big stop and held them to a field goal. Then we get the go-ahead touchdown. And then, of course, in overtime, we get the field goal. Now, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, okay, there's room for improvement. Of course there is. We drove the ball exceptionally well. But however, we got to give a lot of credit to the Falcons. The Falcons played a great game. I mean, it's not going to look good on paper. There's no such thing as, Pyrrhic victories in the National Football League when you're already at the bottom and so on and so forth. But I'm hoping we don't wake up tomorrow and Raheem Morris has been relieved of his duties, because they played hard. And the Falcons have played hard all season. But this goes down as a sweep for the good guys, which, as I said before, I didn't even remember the previous time we had, because needless to say, I was still working at my other job, and we always had a wager. I always had a wager with Falcon fans. But ultimately, we won in overtime, and it looks like Bryce just has absolute total command of this offense, and I loved it. The offensive line has got to get it together. They did improve. Ike Ekwonu looked horrible to start this game, and the running game never got started because the Falcons had so many bodies in the box. But I thought Dave Canellis did a phenomenal job getting not only his tight ends involved, but doing a great job of utilizing Tedero McMillan. It just surprised me, and I think it surprised Bryce when he threw that ball into the end zone for Xavier Legette. That he's going to look at the film and probably wonder, how in the heck was Ted wide open? That's the one guy on the field that can't be open. But totally looking at this game in totality, the Slim Reaper strikes again. 448 yards, you guys, and 3 touchdowns. Ted McMillan had 2. He had 8 for 130. Legette, 4 for 83 and a score. Rico Dowdle had 5 for 55, and the big 28-yarder that was right there near the end of regulation, which I was totally glad that we were able to get that in. Yeah, it was a relief to get this win and to get it with Bryce Young leading the charge. It's great to see the Slim Reaper back, because I'm really sick and tired of defending him with nothing to back it up, because I know what Bryce can do, and a lot of people just don't see it. But any of y'all out there, if you know Bryce personally or you have access to that man, you let him know I'm his biggest supporter. And if he can give me an interview, I would love to do that. Or just come on my show and talk about the game. I would love that. I don't have the great equipment, but I would figure it out. I would clear my schedule to talk with him, because I have been his biggest supporter. I have not put that man down, despite the fact that I did want CJ Stroud. And you guys know I've made no bones about this. I did want CJ Stroud, but you guys know from day one, have I or have I not embraced Bryce? Who cares? Absolutely. And many of you have embraced Bryce. Many of you come in my comments and said the same thing I'm sitting here saying. And then many of you have been negative. And I know none of you are going to get in there in my comments. But the Slim Reaper has proven majority of Panther Nation wrong. But as I said, y'all drop this show in the link and let all these haters know we got a quarterback. And I know a lot of you are going to sit there and say, oh, yes, one game. Yeah, one game, and he broke the franchise record for yards. Stupid. Cam didn't do it. Dalton didn't do it. Darnold didn't do it. Baker didn't do it. Delhomme didn't do it. Kerry Collins didn't do it. Steve Berline didn't do it. What more do you need? Bryce is the franchise. Embrace him. Stop rejecting him. You see what the guy can do when he actually gets some support, even if it's little. It means a lot to him. Let's start calling him the Carolina Reaper again. The Carolina Slim Reaper. I embrace him. I make no bones about it. He's our quarterback here at Growling and Prowling. I know we didn't talk much about the defense, guys, but the reality of it is Trayvon Morig had some really good tackles. Christian Roseboom. Clon Sherless. Do I need to say any more about the way this brother was hitting? Y'all got me sounding like daggum Stephen A. Smith up in here. Claude Shirless was just an absolute punisher. To the point that we heard that that Penix has got a knee injury. And, of course, he didn't finish this game. So a lot of Falcon fans are going to say, well, we got bailed out. Well, here's the thing. Bryce got banged up, too. But he came back. And I'm not knocking Penix for it. It may be more severe than we think. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. I heard Drake London was banged up. I mean, listen. We don't want you seriously hurt, but if we can, kind of knock you out the game, it is what it is. Listen, we're banged up too. And I really got tired of hearing stories about other teams like the Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are riddled with injuries at the skill position. Look, we riddled with injuries on our offensive line. We had a linebacker out. I mean, who's feeling sorry for us? Look, injuries happen everywhere. It's how you fill your roster efficiently is what gets you through it. Look, we're not in the days where you can just get through injuries anymore. Injuries happen. The athletes are stronger and faster. It's going to happen. The guys play with less padding. It's just part of the game. Corey Thornton had a big game, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm loving the way he's playing. Nick Scorton is another guy. If he can just consistently set that edge, we'll be in great shape. He looked really good. The Falcons looked like they were struggling to hold on to him. They looked like they had a lot of issues with him. Princely Emmanuel had a couple of shots at tackles for losses today, and you can tell his undersized is costing him in a lot of ways. He's going to have to hit that weight room. He's going to be a project, a pass rush specialist for now, and we knew that going in. But Bijan Robinson is a freak of nature. That guy, I was watching him on the sideline, the size of this guy's arms. I mean, this guy is built like a blame fullback, but runs with the speed of a 170-pound back. And so many times our guys, if you did not get him stopped in the backfield, it was going to be a riot. I mean, it was going to be rough. I mean, he and I think it was Trayvon Warwick had a huge collision. But what that did was you had somebody like Claude and Shirless and Corey Thornton out there that was popping heads too. You basically had them guys hitting these receivers like Mooney for the Falcons. They were hitting these guys and they were planting them. They were just straight planting these guys. Great physical game by the Carolina Panthers defense. Now I will say this: Bijan Robinson, for all intents and purposes, still had 104 yards, and the Falcons as a team had 125 yards. They shut down Algier. And most of you who don't know, that is the second half of the Falcons' run game. If you guys watched the show, even though it was late, I said it was going to be imperative we keep him in check. Look, Bijan's going to get his somehow. His average was 4.5, which wasn't too torrid, but 23 for 104 and 2 touchdowns for Bijan. And Algier did have that rushing touchdown, and it looked like the momentum had shifted. But you take Drake London, who had 7 for 119, and outside of that, you had 4 catches for 39 for Bijan. You had Darnell Mooney, 3 for 34, and Kyle Pitts, 2 for 14. Yeah, so this is a situation where you could argue that the Carolina Panthers defense was almost had. You're fortunate enough that you can let Bijan run, all over the place. And of course, you had that one fumble that was a game flipper, huge game flipper. And when you look at this game and you look at one thing, considering how well the Falcons ran the ball and how not so well the Panthers ran the ball, the Panthers held the ball 10 more minutes than the Falcons. 37 minutes to 27 minutes. Now, I get it. We had an extra, I think, 5-6 minutes for overtime. But, guys, let me tell you something. When you can throw the ball that many times and still have the football, You had all these naysayers talking that trash about the Panthers getting outgained and so on and so forth last week or whatever. 486 to 348. Nearly 500 yards of offense. And the running game didn't even break 70. Didn't even break 70. That looked like all Bryce to me. Just saying. I mean, they take off for the sacks and whatnot, but, I'm going to be honest with you. Line, this is what happens when you block for the Slim Reaper. And Canellis, when you call the right plays, because you got the guys. I'm sick of hearing this. They ain't got the guys on the outside. You find a mismatch and you eat it up. And what I loved was they picked on this one corner. They picked on Terrell a few times. They did. And it just goes to show you now. Teams that want to sit there and they want to load up and come after the running game, be warned. Because Bryce may be ready for a hot second half. Let me know what you guys think about Bryce Young's performance and his return as the Carolina Slim Reaper. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Guys, copy the link and paste it in every Panthers podcast YouTube channel you can find. Because I want every hater that you know to know that Bryce is that dude. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, this is just one game. Let's see if he can do it again. He may not have to do it again. Or he may have to. Because now we are officially a half a game behind the Bucks. Let's get it on. Don't forget, leave your comment down below. If you are a first-time subscriber, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit that sub button. And make sure you hit that bell notification so that you can get all the shows and shorts that I come up with as soon as they drop. Finally, make sure you keep up with the Facebook group and page at the same name, Growlin' and Prowlin'. Join the group and add us as a friend on Facebook. And last but certainly not least, join me on Instagram for all my shorts and all the little shenanigans that I will eventually be caught up in. But until the next time, like Bryce, don't forget to leave your mark like Claude and Sherilas, while prowling the airwaves and growling out. Keep pounding.